And I think the stream is active now. Yep. So I'm giving you the link to the stream. Again, that's going to be posted in a pretty prominent place eventually. And let me just put Chrome behind me. There we go. Okay, so I do recommend watch the stream. The stream will be a few seconds delayed from real life, but you can pause it, and it's probably a good habit to be able to have that and be able to pause it. I know that I've actually, as an adult, I watch YouTube streams of people coding, and I still learn stuff, and I code with them sometimes. Sometimes I just watch. And I model my teaching off of those streams very often. So this is the page that we have right now. It's all done in CSS and HTML. We copy and pasted this text from College Board, so we did not type it, but I'm scrolling through it right now, just so if you haven't seen it before, it's going to be in the YouTube stream, and you can come back and pause as you need to. Just get through to the bottom. And then our CSS is right here. And I definitely recommend that you do your own CSS. I should at least indent properly everywhere. But that's our CSS. And then our JavaScript is going to be what we're working on today. And I have done this twice now. The first time I went through, I think I hit a couple of snags. So you're seeing a more refined piece at this point, which is good and bad. It's a little less confusing, but you also don't get to see like how do you recover from a possibly bad idea. So we're going to make a variable, and we're going to say sample text. Not same. Sample text. And that's going to be an array. And in that array, I know that we have like a 3AI for a question. Not 3A. 3AI. And we have a 3AII. And we have a 3AII. I think we have a 3AIII. I'm going to go and look. So 3AI, yep, we have, and then we have 3B, 3BI, and then that goes all the way up to 5. So I'm going to do that as well for 3B. So 3BI, 3BII, 3BIII, 3BIV, and 3. And you do want to be doing this right now. Don't just watch. I will probably get ahead of you with this. But then you'll have time at the end to catch up, and you'll have the YouTube video if you need it. So that goes up to 4. So 1, okay. So 3 C I C I C I and CIV, and then D I remember, not because I remember from last week, but it's got part 1 and part 2. So it's 3DI1, part 2, and then it goes 1, 2, and 3. 3DI2, 3DII1, 3DII2, and 3DIII1, and 3DIII2. Now, if these are a little different than mine, it will not hurt you. These are not variable names, they're strings. So if you're a little different, you need to have the correct amount. But if you name them a little different, it's okay. If your capitalization is different, it's fine. It's not going to haunt you. These are strings. And these are actually going to be things that we never see eventually. We're going to use them as an anchor point for a brief time, but they are definitely a temporary piece. So we now have an array or a list of strings, And that list is the same length as the number of text areas we have. And so what we want to do now is we want to go through and we want to find all the text areas. Now there's a couple ways to do it. We're going to do it with code because that's definitely the easiest, because we want to change all of our text areas so that they have different text in them. We put the word default text in all of them. We never want default text to show up. So these text areas, these are tags. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, let's write a function called update text area with sample. And sample is going to be a list, just like sample text. Then what we want to do is we want to go through and we want to find all the text areas on the web page. Now we can do that with a command. Earlier today, I genuinely did not know the command. I Googled it. Right now, if you paid me, I might be able to recall it, but I don't actually, because I don't remember from time to time. So I'm going to say JavaScript get all tags. And I see this get elements by tag name. And I didn't look up how to use it, because I normally get element by ID or get element by class. These are things we've done through the year. And so I remember that. And so if you didn't, you'd dive in a little bit more than what I'm diving in. But that's going to be what I want. And what I want to get is I want to get all of the tags named text area. And I'm going to make a variable called t, say, and that's going to equal all of the tags called text area. Now that's going to be a list. That's going to be an array. How do I know that? Because I've done this before. If I didn't, I could Google and look into it a little. But it's going to be a list. And the first item in the list is going to be the first text area on the web page. The second item in the list will be the second text area. Now they all say default text. What I want them to say is the text that's here. And that's actually a simple thing to do. And we've done things similar to this. And it's just creativity on, well, how do you do it again? So I'm going to say for var I equals 0, I is less than t.length, I plus plus. So we're going to go through each item. And we're going to say ti. Now that's getting the text area on the web page. And we're going to say that inner HTML equals, and then we could say YOLO if we wanted to. And now what we're going to do is this code won't run because it's a function. It doesn't run until you call the function. So right above it, we're just going to call update text area. And we're going to pass in sample text. And if I test this, if everything goes right, it's going to say YOLO a bunch of times. Something went wrong. So I'm going to check. And get elements by tag name is not defined. Okay, I know what I did wrong. It's supposed to be document. So we need that keyword document. That's saying our web page. Go to our web page and grab all of the elements. There are other things that we could grab the elements by tag name. We're getting it from the web page that we're connected to. And now if everything goes right, it says YOLO a bunch of times. That's great. I don't want it to say YOLO. In fact, I don't want to live once. What I want it to say is the text that's in this sample text, which is now called sample in this function. So I'm going to say it's equal to sample I. So I just changed that from YOLO to sample I. Now what should happen is the first item of our web page should have this first piece of text. The second item will have the second piece of text. The third item will have the third piece of text. And if we lined everything up right, that's working. Uh-oh. So 3C has a 5 in it. So that's easy to... Oh, it has a 4. I missed the 4. So I'm just adding 4 in the list. Oh, and then no, I am missing 5. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to hit refresh again. So 1, 2, 3. B has 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? 3CI? What the heck? Three C. And I do want these to line up, and it's super important that they do, so I'm going to spend a minute. Sample I, sample text. Oh, that's because I'm dumb. It's B that gets the 5, not C. C might also have it, but I was replacing the wrong. So B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Then D1, D2, D1, D2, D1, D2. Okay, so my stuff is all lining up. Make sure you line it up. Now, if you put different text here, it wouldn't matter. You just have to make sure that your second text is lining up here. And I would name it something similar to this, just because you'll see where we're going to go in a minute. So make sure they're all lined up. If they are, you're in good shape. And now that they're all lined up, I'm going to hide that text because I don't have to worry about it anymore. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come here, and I'm going to copy and duplicate sample text. So now I have 2 arrays called sample text. That's not a cool thing to do. I'm going to call this one sample A. But I'm stealing the sample text just because I don't want to have to be counting and lining things up all day long. So now I've got this sample A thing happening. And now I'm going to come to the College Board's webpage where it has sample written responses. Ultimately, I'm going to do what I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you, sorry about my bird. I'm going to show you 2 samples, how to work through 2 of them. We want to get through all of them. Today isn't the day that you have to, but if you're like, ooh, I'm in a groove, I'm going to keep going, good, keep going. I will do this with you, but this is something that's, so yeah, here we go. So 3A, now they put it all, A parts 1, 2, and 3, they put it all together. We're going to break it up later, but I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy this. Actually, I'm going to copy the URL. There's the URL to this page if you want it. But I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to paste it here. Now, there is a problem. Returns are messing us up, so I have to delete out the returns. And it's a bit of a pain, but it's not the end of the world pain. There, got rid of all the returns. I'm going to leave AII and AIII alone right now because this isn't distinguishing where it breaks up. We'll break it up later. I'm not going to copy the code because the code is a picture. If the code was text, I would copy it. But then 3BI, I'm going to paste part B. Holder. 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 And then I'm going to do the same thing for part C. Holder. And actually part C has that piece up top. Holder. Talking to my bird a little bit because she talks to me. And you're going to be doing a lot of text manipulation for this I'm going to do all of it with you, because if I'm going to ask you to do something that's this annoying, you can see me doing it with you. And understand, though, when I do it, I have to do it 3 times a day. So when it's like, do I have to do all that? My answer is absolutely yes. And I'll let you know that it's not that big of a deal by doing it with you. It is a bit of a pain, and I'm pretty good with manipulating lots of text because I've been doing it for lots of years. So after that, I can then come back to here and I can hit refresh. And, oh, it's not going to change yet because we're still filling it with sample text. I'm going to change that to sample A. So that sample A updates the text with. And hit refresh. And now it's putting text in. I don't like that the boxes, this box looks okay, but this box, there's a lot of blank space. So I'd like this box to actually be much smaller. So I did a Google search earlier, and I kept it because I loved it. It's this text area adjust I got. And I'm going to paste this into the chat, so don't scramble about getting this code. This isn't code that I wrote, so I'm not typing it, I'm pasting it. And then I'm going to say where I got it from. So you'll see that I go online and I get sample code all the time. I don't always source it because if I'm just figuring out like, if I'm just like grabbing like, oh, it's get element by tag name. I don't need to source where that came from. That's from like JavaScript. But this I took from this person who asked the question. So I'm going to source, I'm going to say Stack Overflow helped me out here because it did. And so now this here, this will resize your text area boxes. And so when I fill it with text, I'm going to say text area adjust equals, sorry, text area adjust parenthesis T. No, T bracket, I bracket. Inside the parentheses. There. So what that should do now is that should say, okay, set the text and then adjust the height. Set the text, then adjust the height and go all the way down. And then when I look at this, boom. It makes the height a little bit bigger, which I think that's way better looking. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to show you what you can do for the rest. So I'm going to also do sample B today. I'm not going to do beyond B, so B is it. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to demonstrate by doing it. I'm going to grab that sample text one again, because that just lines everything up for me. So I'm going to be using that for all of the samples. So sample B, now I'm going to go back to College Board. Now this was sample B. I'm going to move some stuff around. I'm going to close sample A because I don't want to copy the wrong stuff. And I'm going to copy this into part A, get rid of the returns. Part B. Now, yeah. I'm going to do part B, C, D, and then I will demonstrate how to test it. And this isn't really taking that long. It's a little annoying. And when you get started, like when you get into a groove, you can keep doing beyond the first two if you are like, I'm doing it already, I might as well keep going. To tomorrow we're not going to be continuing this part. We're gonna vote tomorrow on what we're doing. Do you want to have an active day to just work, or do you want a little bit of material coming your way? I'm hoping you vote for material, but I'm not going to require it. Okay, so, and then to test part B, I just changed sample A to sample B here, so it updates the text with sample B. I'm going to come in, hit the refresh button, and now it's got sample B everywhere. So I'm going to stop the stream here.